Thank you for joining us today. We are joined by the one and only Avalanche. Hello, sir. How are you?
Hey guys, I'm doing good actually. Thanks for having me on.
No, thank you for coming on. And that's a really cool backdrop you've got there. I'm loving the WXW stuff in the background.
It's from 16 karat gold 2019. Which is used in the in the entry area where people can make pictures. I'm currently in the WXW office, and there's some stuff from past shows on the walls and all that. Yeah,
That's awesome.
From better time when there were still like events going on.
Wow, you remember those days?
Well, hardly, but
we'll get there, man. We'll get there. And I can speak for Callum as well. WXW is a bucket list for us, isn't it, Callum, to get there?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would love to see WXW. Even though we're from the UK, I've got to say WXW is the best promotion in Europe, and we mentioned that on many podcasts. WXW for us is a bucket list, and doing the 16 karat would be incredible. We'd definitely do the trip over to Germany for that. I know there's good promotions in the UK, but I think WXW is like the best promotion in Europe.
Well, I mean, thank you for the kind words. To be quite honest, I can't really compare it because I haven't been to the UK frequently, and I haven't worked for. Actually, if I'm quite honest, like I've worked in the UK before, but I've only wrestled for WXW in the UK. So
right.
And like I was scheduled to work for PCW right before the lockdown happened, but that got I couldn't make the travel because of COVID. So yeah, I definitely hope to be back in the UK more once everything is picking up again. Actually, I don't know if Brexit really allows it, but that's at least what I got planned. So
we'll get you back, dude. We'll get you back. And PCW is a great place to go. I've been to a few PCW shows. You'll have a lot of fun there. It's a great place to be. But like I said as well, we want to get over to Germany to WXW. I've only ever been to Germany once, and I love the place. And I've got to tell you from the bottom of my heart, you guys have the best beer in the world. It's
yeah, I think everyone knows that, don't they? Germany's got the best beer. I mean, they've got a festival made around beer, so
yeah,
must be good.
Yeah, the Oktoberfest, but yeah,
Oktoberfest, yeah.
That's another bucket list for me. What I did see as well, what I talked about as well, because we've never had a chance to really speak about this guy. Your training. I know you was trained a bit by Walter, and Tom Pritchard. What was it like? First of all, what was it like being trained by Tom Pritchard?
There was a really cool experience. So I mean, he was with WXW for 2 weeks back in 2013 or 14. I'm not. Yeah. I think it was. No, like please look it up. It was either one. But he was staying in Europe and Germany for 2 weeks, and I was joining a camp that was run by him, which went for a week. That's one point where I got really a lot of input. But what made it even better was that me and him. Because I'm Austrian, right? And at that point I didn't live in Germany, so me and him were basically the only two foreigners, and so we spent a lot of time outside of the trainings as well, which was like 3 hours a day. But basically we were around each other 24/7 for 2 weeks, which was, as you can imagine, a great learning experience, because I was green as green, and like just sitting under the learning tree and listening to him telling stories about Yeah, about the territory days and working for WWE, training now Hall of Famers and all that. Like it was just yeah, all around great learning experience. Like there's that saying of yeah, shut up and listen, right? And so I was able to pick up so many things, and he was so kind to me. Like we watched matches of myself every day, and he would like really give me like detailed feedback. And I remember, like, I'm not gonna drop any names or anything, but I remember pulling up a match where I was really proud of. Actually, it was a match that happened at 16 karat gold 2013,
Okay.
I think, or 14. I'm not quite sure, but I was super proud of it, and I showed it to him, and he was like, I mean, he was kind, but he like basically told me like, hey, look at this guy, he's not selling for you whatsoever, and he's making you look bad. And I was just happy that I was wrestling at 16 karat gold. I didn't have eyes for stuff like is anybody working for each other, or is anybody making somebody look stupid or anything. Because I was just, you know, blinded by being happy to participate. So it was a mind-blowing experience having the guy who obviously knows it like tell you like, hey, I mean, you can be happy that you've been there, but that guy doesn't really make you look good here. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's his job, isn't it? That whenever he's worked for a company, his job has been to give feedback like that. So he must have been incredible to learn. You know, another pair of eyes to look at your matches and see things that you might not have realized.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, everybody can see like obvious botches or when something is obviously off, but there's so much more for stuff that you don't see really when you know, it's kind of weird to describe, but like everything is really really foggy, and by the time you get experience, the picture gets clearer and clearer and clearer. And once you think like, oh, I might be almost there, you experience like, oh no, there's way more fog I have to I have to go through to get to my to get to my goal. And so I think what might be the biggest takeaway from that time I got to spend with Tom Pritchard was that I from that time on I really applied like his mindset of being a student of the game and never stop learning. Because that's I think, I mean, now being a trainer myself, I think that's one of those points where a lot of up and comers struggle, because they get to the point where they think they know what's going on, and they stop learning. So I push my students to not do that, and always stay a student of the game, because then I think that's the only way to really to really make it far, or as far as possible. So that's basically the biggest takeaway that helped me a lot. And you know,
yeah, that does happen though, doesn't it? Like obviously some people might think that they don't need to learn anymore because
I mean, it happens to everybody. It happened to me. Like when I was 2 years in, and I had hardly done. I didn't do anything that counts something in the world of wrestling.
Yeah.
Actually, I mean, I don't think I've done now, but like back then, I thought like, hey, I'm pretty good at this. While obviously I was a sack of shit who could move, but that was pretty much it. But I thought, yeah, I can do this. But yeah, it was very.
Things, though. Like wrestling's always evolving, isn't it? Like wrestling's always changing. So that means there's always something new to learn in wrestling.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, the other name as well, obviously, we mentioned was you was also under the Volta learning tree. What was that like? Was that a completely different experience to learning from Tom?
I mean, yes, but for for the reason of me and him being friends before he actually got to be my mentor.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
so that was like totally, yeah, like a totally different situation. But so like I guess it was different for me than for anybody else who learned under Walter. Maybe it was even harder because like with friends you tend to be even more more honest and more straightforward. So, but yeah, it was great, and it is still great because like we're in contact pretty much every day of the week, I would say. And yeah, it's great. I owe him a lot, definitely. And it's great to see how far he has come, and I think he deserves every moment of it.
Now, we have to ask you as well. I know Callum knows what I'm going to ask you. We had Alexander James on just before Christmas, and we asked him about how it's like taking one of Walter's chops. Have you taken one of those chops? And, I mean, are they as bad as they sound?
Yeah, I've taken a couple of them. I mean, yeah, it's not nice, but what what do you want to do?
Yeah. Well, I mean, funny story is we actually spoke to Alexander, and Alexander actually said that Ilya Dragunov's hurt more than Walter's.
Sorry, the connection just died. I didn't hear the question. Sorry.
When we spoke to Alexander, he actually told us that he found Ilya Dragunov's chops harder than Walter's.
Actually, I think like no. I mean, well, please put in perspective. There was no wrestling for pretty much a year now, so I don't really have it in my in my short-term memory. But I think they're definitely both up there. So I mean, Ilya might be a little bit quicker than Walter, but Walter's hands are like they're the size of, I don't know,
Spades,
somebody else's feet or something. So he's got very, very big hands. Trust me. So, but I would say they're on one level, I would say.
Is it safe to say that chops just suck in general? Like it's always going to hurt getting chopped on your chest, right?
Yeah. I think, I mean, there's a way to make it not suck that much, but like a chop is a chop. It's always gonna hurt. But wrestling, even though it's predetermined and all that, which we obviously know, but like when you get in there, there will always be contact, and I mean that's also how I prefer it. Like I don't want anybody to watch my matches and be like, oh yeah, that wasn't real, and that one didn't hit, and this. So
yeah, you like it to look like a fight.
Yeah, I don't like it when there's a whole bunch of light shining through stuff. So I like it hands-on. So
well, I mean, talking obviously one side of wrestling, obviously the hands-on, the fighting side of it. The other side of it is obviously characters and gimmicks. One of the guys you've been against who's making a big name for himself at the moment is Cara Noir. What was it like working with Cara, and what's your thoughts on him at the moment?
I mean, working with him was great. I would definitely like to do that again in the future, hopefully. And also, like Cara is like, yeah, he's a character, but he's also very hands-on. Like his work is really solid. He lays it in. Like he's obviously very good at grappling, very good at grappling. So, like I enjoy wrestling characters as well as like hands-on wrestling. And I think actually, I mean, now that you dropped his name, like I think he's pretty much worldwide, worldwide, including like the big leagues, to me, he's basically the prime example that it's possible to have an kind of outlandish character but still be a credible competitor in the ring. And I think that's something that gets lost too often when guys portray an outlandish character. They rely too much on that. To me, I mean, that's personal taste. Like I like it more when it's when a guy is a competitor first, and then but but at the same time being a little bit odd or outlandish or however you want to call it. But yeah, to me, like the competition part should always be on first place instead of like just being odd or however you want to call it.
No, I get that. Yeah, it's like when back in the 90s in WWF where you'd have a character who's like a garbage man or someone who's an accountant or a tax man, you know, like the IRS or something. It's like, why is this accountant fighting in wrestling? Why, you know, just didn't make any sense. So it's always good with Cara Noir where he's a fighter first, but there is a character to it. As soon as the bell rings, he's trying to win that fight. And I think, like you said, he's the perfect example of somebody who mixes it perfectly.
Yep. And like he also does some very entertaining stuff.
Mm.
You know, he doesn't do it to get the haha, but he does it when it naturally fits into the match or when it fits the situation. And it's not like, hey, I definitely need to do this to get the people laughing, and you know, like that's something that occurs naturally once the match is on and like a situation occurs, and then he plays off of it, which I prefer way more. Like, you know, like maybe digressing now a little bit, but often like people who know me a little bit better, or actually it's the other way around. But sometimes I get you know, people think like I don't like comedy wrestling and all that, but that's totally not the case. But I just don't like wrestling that's, you know, when it's not competitive, when it's obviously just being done for, you know, popping the boys in the back or for, you know, when it's just obviously not wrestling. Like I think actually I enjoy comedy wrestling, but to me, good comedy wrestling is way harder than just having like a strong style kind of match, because like implying funny situations in a match that still makes sense as competition, that's really hard.
That's a skill, isn't it? That's a skill, because you're having to be a comedian and a wrestler at the same time.
Yeah. So for me personally, a guy who I enjoy watching is Toru Yano, for example, because he obviously does, like the stuff he does is funny, but he does it to reach his goal. Like he tries to drag, like obviously everybody is a better wrestler than him, kind of like he can't really hang with anybody, so he tries to drag the guys to his level.
Yeah.
However he can manage it, so he does it, but he does it to beat the guys at his level once he has them there.
Yeah, there's a method to it.
Yeah, exactly, which is a whole different thing if it's just, hey, let's do this because it's funny.
So obviously, moving on from that as well, you got to go to America, and not only did you got to compete in MLW, you actually got a world title match with Tom Lawler. What was the experience like in America, and what was it like working with MLW?
It was very, very cool. I was also very happy and also a little bit surprised that I got offered a spot in the world title match against Tom Lawler, basically in my first match there. I enjoyed the match. Tom Lawler is a really cool dude, and I think, like, certainly not the best match of my career or anything, but I think it was just a good piece of business for MLW, and I think it was pretty much exactly what it should have been for their champion, like and me as foreigner coming in to challenge for the world title. So I really enjoyed that. Working for MLW as a whole was a nice experience. I got to work with guys like Conan, who was the agent for my match, and people you grew up with as a kid now being agents for your matches and stuff like that. That's something that will never get old. To me. Yeah, just overall great experience. What I also enjoyed about it is that me and Walter had championship matches in New York the same night, but he obviously had the big one against Pete, I think in the Barclays Center, and I was wrestling for world title too, a couple of kilometers away, and I mean certainly not 15,000 people in attendance, but hey, still it was
so cool, man.
It was still two friends wrestling at the same on the same night for major championships across the pond. So
Did you go for a beer afterwards to celebrate?
Actually, no. I was so tired that I went straight back to the hotel and fell asleep. But
understandable.
Is MLW somewhere you'd be happy to go back to as well? Work there a bit more.
I mean, I would love to. I think MLW. I mean, I didn't really follow the product recently, like the empty set stuff they put out. I I can't really get into that, but I think MLW is like if you like the Fusion, that's how their show is called, right? I think they have a nice mix of like heavyweight wrestlers and like also like Mexican lucha style, and I like that mix. Like you could definitely say like you will see matches at MLW you won't see anywhere else, and that's not really like, I think that's not an understatement. They have a lot of guys there. I would really like to wrestle. Like I think Alex Hammerstone is really talented. Probably doesn't get as much as what's the right word? Acknowledged like he should.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And also, I would really like. I've been saying this pretty much for 2 years now. I would really love to wrestle Jacob Fatu.
I was just about to say that. That would be an awesome match, man.
I want as well. I think you've read both of our minds. I think that'd be a dream match. You versus Jacob Fatu. Like you said, he's a big man, but he's such a talented big man. I think that would be a fantastic match, you and Jacob.
I'll say it now. He's got the best moonsault in the business, and he's nearly 300 pounds, and it's the best moonsault I've seen currently. I don't know if it's better.
I don't know if it's the best one, but right now I think it's definitely the most impressive one.
Yeah, that's maybe more accurate. Yeah, the most impressive.
Yeah, did you while you was there as well? I mean, did you get to spend much time around Court Barrow as well? Because he's doing a phenomenal job with MLW.
Yeah, I mean, not really. Like it was basically. I mean, because like those taping days are very very busy days as well. Like I think they like besides doing a live show, I think in 2 days they also shot like 8 to 10 weeks of TV. So he was really yeah, we got to talk like for like 5 minutes, but not really into detail.
No, I mean obviously MLW. Is America in general a goal? AEW, NXT, places like that, or are you happy staying in Europe at the moment?
I mean, right now, I'm happy to be in Europe.
You don't have a choice at the moment.
I keep forgetting.
You know, I mean, now that they have a president again who seems to be a decent person, or I could imagine going to the US permanently. Way better than for the last 4 years, to be quite honest. But it's not my main goal. Like I I would definitely like to go back to Japan because it has been forever that I've been there, and I feel
Yeah.
like I've like, and I'm happy that I got the chance to be there really early in my career, because if it wasn't for the time I spent there, maybe we wouldn't talk to each other right now. So I'm very grateful for that. But I just feel like I could bring way more to the table than I was able to um, 7-8 years ago. Time flies. It's crazy. It's even 9 years. I've been to Japan for the first time nine years ago, and I think I could, yeah, do way more and way better than I was able to when I was there for the last time. So I would really love to do that. Promotion, I wouldn't really care. I don't know. Like, I think Noah is doing a pretty good job in the last year. Um, I also enjoy some All Japan or New Japan. Like, I really don't care. Like, it's not. Um, I like to go. I like to go places. I like to see new countries. I like to make every possible show or promotion to my CV that I can
Yeah.
possibly add. Like, and I think um, that's also what helps you to really shape your work when there's a lot of influences, and when you know, like, I like that part of wrestling. And I mean, like, might be an unpopular opinion or something, because it doesn't really fit like the romantic mindset of some people. But like, if WWE would send me an email right now and would ask me to get under contract, there's a pretty big chance that I would answer yes, please. Here's my
Mhm.
here's my details, because it's like, it's um it's a business, but it's also something you um what's the right word, like, we all do it out of a passion, but at the end of the day, it's a business as well. So
It's your passion, but your passion also pays the bills in this case. So
exactly, like, if I can choose, if I wanted to be my passion, and or if I wanted to be my passion and being able to pay my bills with it, well, I mean, like,
even better.
who wouldn't make that decision, to
You're
be quite
absolutely
honest.
right. It would be the smart choice to do. And I guess my last question was going to be, obviously, if WWE called, like you said, you'd be happy to negotiate with them, or at least be open to the idea. But before you go anywhere else, I mean, you're a former WXW Shotgun champion, tag team champion. You've got one thing left to do in WXW, and that's the heavyweight championship. That's when you're back in WXW. I mean, that's got to be your goal, right? You want to collect the set. You want to finish. You want to at least get the WXW heavyweight championship at some point. Is that on your radar?
Well, I mean, if I would say no, that would be a straight
Yeah.
lie. So yeah, obviously the unified title is the one that's missing. So we'll see if that happens
That would be
uh,
cool.
anytime. I mean, I guess it's not going to happen anytime soon because there's no shows. But
Means you've
but
got
yeah,
time to plan though. You've got time to strategize, come up with a game plan for it.
I mean, it's definitely up on the bucket list.
Yeah.
That's something we want to see, man. We really do. One last thing before we go as well. You got to represent WXW on the Progress German tour. Arguably the other top promotion in Europe. What was it like competing with Progress? I know you got to compete against British Strong Style. What was that experience like?
I mean, yeah, it was a Progress show, but it was in Germany and it was a WXW venue, so it was all, again, it was very like familiar. I was in that six-man tag, like the environment from all guys. I was the guy who was used to the venue and all that the most, so it wasn't really, like, was cool to work for Progress, and also like being featured in the main event on the very first match you ever do for a promotion. So that's all nice, and all the guys there are like, they're obviously good workers, and were easy to talk to, and all that. So that was a nice experience. But to be quite honest, I would, if I could choose, I would have loved to make that experience in the UK in one of the regular Progress venues, to be quite honest. Like, I don't want to complain, but like, I worked for Progress, it was the main event, but like it still had very WXW vibe to it. Not that this is a bad thing, but it's
there's nothing like going to Progress at Ali Pali, for example. That's an incredible venue. I've been to the Electric Ballroom a couple of times and Alexandra Palace, and it's such a good atmosphere. I've obviously never been to Progress in Germany, but I can only imagine it would be more like a WXW show, like you said. So hopefully, down the line, you're going to get that chance to come over and carry on wrestling in the UK. Like you said, you were meant to before COVID. When the world opens up, it'd be awesome to see you back in the UK.
Yep. I hope so. Let the guys know.
Oh, we will.
Yeah, man, let us know. We'll be front row, dude. We'll be there. But before we let you go as well, tell everybody where they can find you. Social media, any merchandise.
So you can find me on social media. I got Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It's @Avalanche DRSKR. You can find my merchandise on sl-wrestling.de. That's where all of my merchandise is distributed right now. So yeah, if you got anything, like, just tweet me and let's get in contact. Let me put it like that.
Hell yeah, man. But we can't thank you enough. It's been an absolute pleasure, man. We'll definitely get you on again. And there's so much more to talk about. But for now, we can't thank you enough. Avalanche, we are insiders. Thank you.